Hey guys, ArkhIce here. And today I want to talk about something, discuss something that's been going on. There's been a big debate that I've seen people talk about. What unit actually kind of ruined the game, basically, right? So that's what we're going to talk about, right? Before we jump into this and, discuss this, make sure that you subscribed if you haven't yet, and turn on that notification bell if you want to get notified when I upload. So there's one big unit that everyone says that ruined the game and is going to guys completely offset the meta, never going to change. She just completely just ruined everything. That unit is Goddess Liz. The Goddess Liz is the big unit that everyone says ruined it, right? They said she ruined the meta, she ruined the game, and which in all honesty, she changed the meta. She was a meta-changing unit. She completely flipped it around. And she stayed and evolved with every single meta that came out, ever since her release back in June 2020. Which was almost a year ago. So for almost an entire year, she's been the main person you would see everywhere. And she still is today. People say that her revive, her reflect, her shield, her sun, all of this just completely ruined the game. They ruined everything. I disagree. Because so let's go back to when Liz first came out, right? The main team you would see with her was King, Liz, and Lost Vein. Or Lost Vein, Liz, and then Red Gother. Because Green Gother wasn't out at the time, right? That team was dominant. That's the dominant team you would see everywhere. Of course, you would still see some Pin sometimes, some Kingram. You would see some Escanor teams, some Mono Red. Some more teams are still running around. But the playing field in PvP, both ungeared and geared, was dominated by the two different versions of the Goddess Liz and Lost Vein team. And the back, you would usually have Merlin, right? The thing about the Lost Vein Liz team is that, yes, it was extremely strong, but at the same time, you could play around it. Because, for instance, Lost Vein, he gets ranked up when you crit, right? And also his ult's really strong. The thing about it is, if you target, let's say, Gother or Liz, and didn't target Lost Vein, he didn't really get any ranked up unless the Gother ranked him up, right? Well, okay. That's fine, he can get his ult, right? His ult could be really strong. The thing about his ult is that it's an AoE ult, and it requires you to have multiple Lost Vein cards to do a lot of damage, alongside having a high ult level. Lost Vein's ult, if you don't have ult level and a lot of Lost Vein cards, doesn't actually do that much in all honesty. It's very easy to survive a Lost Vein ult. Like, it is actually very easy to survive it. Even with Green Gother out today, I've survived a Lost Vein ult that was 4 to 6 when he only had one Lost Vein card. I completely survived. It's easy to survive it. And then you have Gother. Gother's stats are not strong. It is very easy to kill Gother. Like, whenever Lost Vein Liz was a thing and it was Red Gother would die very easy to a Lost Vein card. Like, the single target Lost Vein card, because mostly everyone attacked, right? It would get ranked up and it'd be super easy to take down that Gother. Because Gother's stats are still the stats from the very first day of the game. He's one of the units that came out in the beginning and had those beginning stats from the very first time the game released, right? So in all honesty, Gother's stats are low compared to other units. Okay, what about Liz? Liz had a stun card. Yes, it was annoying, but it's easy to get around. Okay, her shield, it's really strong. Yes. But Rupture's the thing. Like, one of the biggest units that are actually still a PvP that you see a lot actually is Ludusio. Ludusio's second card is a Rupture card. He has a single target, just a big attack card, big percentage. Then he has a Rupture AoE card. That Rupture AoE, even at level 1, does a lot of damage to the Liz shield. So, she's not a threat. There's also other Rupture units that you do see out in the playing field. Okay, what about her ult? Well, her ult isn't that strong unless you have a max Liz. Because I face like 60% reflect. I'm not afraid of a 60% reflect. I'm not. I'm honestly not. If I see a Liz with less than 80%, I'm still going to ult you. I'm still going to do my big attacking card against you and take you down. Because I'm not afraid of these 3 percentages. I start strategizing, prepping, and getting a little bit worried when I see these 3 percentages. Right? So, I'm not worried about a Liz ult unless you have a 4 to 6 or higher. Which, Liz is a Fez unit, and it's hard to get a Fez unit 4 to 6 without luck as a free-to-play player. There's honestly not a lot of whales out there. Right? And her passive is a revive, yes. But a revive you can still play around. Like that's what everyone's doing. We evolved to play around a revive. It's just something that we know just happened, and it's like, let's say instance Lost Vein, right? Well, okay, we'll just use 2 cards instead of 1 to kill someone, or use 3 cards instead of 2 to kill someone, right? That's the thing. It's just you have to use an extra card, which yes, it is a bad thing that you use an extra card, but once everyone gets attuned to that, it becomes a thing where, okay, well, she didn't really ruin PvP. The unit that ruins PvP, in my opinion, let's go pull him up. This boy. Let me tell you why this man ruined PvP. Because he one-shots. With his normal cards, he one-shots, right? It doesn't matter. He one-shots. Like, you can have a list shield up, he still does a lot of damage without crits. Like, crits, he'll get like on like a level 1 of this to 120, 130, 140,000. Without crits, he's still hitting 80 to 90,000. That's still a lot of damage for a level 1. And that is the majority of a unit's health. Like, for instance, my Gother with a max UR set with like 15% and everything, well, it's like 14%, like 14.5. I haven't completely maxed it yet. He hits 190k HP. That's a lot of HP, but that is half. This flood damage card, level 1, does half of Gother's HP set. Right? And majority of the time, you're going to see an Escanor critting. Because even without, like, Laduciel and all them, Escanor still gets a higher amount of crit chance, right? His crit chance is, I think it's roughly like 70, 75%, somewhere around there. Whenever you count his costumes, you count his level 86 star, his Super Awakening, he still gets around 75% crit chance base. And a lot of people run Green Gother with him, so it also gets increased more. And you'll see Death Pierce, which means decreases your crit resistance and crit defense. He usually crits a lot, right? So this man solos a lot of units. He will wipe out a unit with his cards. Level 1. You don't need higher level 1. Like the Lost Vein Liz meta, for Lost Vein to actually do a lot of damage, you needed to have a higher level 1 card. I don't think Liz ruined the game. In all honesty, Liz enhanced it. Liz was very easy to play around. I think the one Escanor is the man that ruined the game. And this ult, because how much damage he does and how much crit he does, at level 1, this ult does 3 to 400,000. And then you do the death damage of 20% of that. 20% of that is still 40,000. That's a lot. No, wait. 80,000, sorry. 80,000 is 20% of 400,000. That's a lot of damage. In all honesty, that's half of a unit's health. And by the time you use an ult, you probably already brought down the units either the dead or close to dead. So whoever you ult, that death damage is going to someone else who's already low and kill them. He kills 2 units right off the bat with his ult. It's a single target. Like AoE ults, you can kill multiple units, but AoE ults are toned down to where they're lower than this. The reason why single target is so high is because they target 1 unit. Death damage hits a secondary unit based off the damage you dealt. And if you're critting, and you're critting majority of the time, and he has a high amount of crit damage, plus, all the units you run with him, and if you have a Ludo built, it's just, yeah. His passive is okay. I mean, it's really, really good. It's nothing that's game-breaking. I think the Escanor himself, with how much damage he does and what he just does, he's just a big bonk unit. I honestly think Escanor was the unit that ruined the meta, because I've been seeing this debate. It's like Goddess Liz versus the one Escanor. Who ruined it? Goddess Liz I can play around very easily. I don't have to focus on the Goddess Liz. When it comes to Escanor, you focus on him, you kill him, or you're dead. If you don't kill the one Escanor when you see him, it's over for you. He's going to wipe your team with his attacks. Like, Goddess Liz revive with the one Escanor doesn't matter. Because he just attacks once with this, once with this, or he attacks, or sometimes you even get two of these. Just level 1, 2 of these level 1s just wipe a unit, revive, and then dead. He is a very strong unit that I honestly think is a lot worse than Goddess Liz when it comes to this game. But that's only my thoughts, that's my opinions. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!